Hello, welcome to our Getting Started in EVE Online. So this is part 23. So this is pretty much about doing combat level 2 security missions. And for the beginning we're going to be training some missile skills. So it's just 1 day of training missile skills and you'd be so much better. Your carousel cruiser would be pretty good in this, pretty much all you need. So we bought the missile projection skill. So you could just go to your missile tab and see which skills have you not bought yet. We bought the warhead upgrades skill. So it costs like 2 million for this one. All of these skills should be free to play, so if you're a free to play player you should be able to get these. We didn't get member skills yet. You would want guided missile precision, and then you might as well just get torpedoes while you're at this station. So all these skills don't really cost too much. I think the one costs like 2 million, the other one is 1 million, that one was like 500,000, this one's like 125,000. You might want to buy heavy assault missiles. And then we trained all those onto the training queue. So training all those to level 2 pretty much took 1 day and 7 hours of training. So it's not too long of training, it just took 73,000 of our points. But our missile skills would be much more improved than they were before. So basically we started doing these security missions and then we upgraded our skills after doing them for a bit. So because of the video we can do them before that. We also decided we might as well just train into the Battleship and Missile Launcher Operation 5, right? Missile Launcher Operation 5 is the skill that takes forever to train. So this takes like 288,000 skill points, or is it 207,000? Can't really tell, but we still have 350,000 points left. And something you might want to buy is advanced weapon upgrades. So that's a free to play skill as well. So if you wanted to look at our skill tree, this is what it looks like. We're getting weapon upgrades, advanced upgrades, shield operation, shield upgrades, and hull upgrades. This is just training after we learn these skills to train into the battleship. So now we can do security 2 missions if you want. So we already talked a little bit before about how you want to avoid the missions against the main factions. So if he tells you to go against Minimatar or Galante or Amar or Kaldari, you want to decline the mission from him. So you don't want to do these ones. You can decline a mission every 4 hours. If you've already declined one, you can find another mission. If you Google the pirate factions, these missions would be fine to do. If it says it's against any of these 5 factions, you shouldn't worry about doing it. Those missions are just fine. It's the other ones. You don't want to take standing hits against any other factions. But the cruisers should be perfectly fine set up. With these skills, our range has been increased from 29 kilometers to 38 kilometers. Plus our enhancer is going to increase the range of it. So actually the first mission that we went into said that we didn't actually have to kill anything, so we got confused. So we'll start with this one. If you're doing a level 2 mission and you cannot defeat the enemy, like he's way too ridiculous. We were sitting in this mission for way too long. We're like, why can't we do any damage to this ship? It's because you're not supposed to actually kill anybody in this mission. All that we were supposed to do was go through the acceleration gate. So considering we pulled the entire mission and there's no way our cruiser could get through, good thing we had our battle cruiser. All we had to do for this was go through the activation gate. And once we arrived here, all that we had to do was dock at the station. So a bunch of guys would warp in. We don't want to fight them at the moment. Our battle cruiser's even at like half shields at this point. So we'd want to warp out of here. Pretty much when we get here, you want to align towards the station. Try to align towards some station, and if you need to warp out, you can click warp, and you should warp out instantly. This was another mission where there was no combat. So if you're doing missions and you're like, this is way too hard for the cruiser, it's not supposed to be. Read the mission journal. Mission journal would tell you, you don't have to kill these guys. These are not supposed to be destroyed. Like some of the guys, they're impossible to kill. So you just do the objectives and go back home. And then eventually, if you run into career agents that tell you to go against the other faction, and you try to request a mission, and he tells you to go against another faction, or a mission you don't want to do, you could always go to the agent finder. Go to the agent finder, you could search for any faction. There's actually a whole bunch of level 2 agents, like 0 in the system and 1 jumps away. So we found a new agent to work on that was for Amar. So this one actually gave us tons of good missions to do. Just go through the different agents if you can't do any missions for that one. There's tons of level 2 agents to do. So now we'll just do a whole bunch of combat with the cruiser. We just got when we're warping into the system, you pretty much see how far they are, lock into them. Try to double click somewhere in space, activate your micro warp drives, get out of distance. Just like the destroyer, you want to try to kite everything and stay as far away from the enemies as you can. So you want to be able to hit them where they cannot hit you. Pretty much as the safest thing to do. Can't really tank anything. I guess the cruiser could tank everything pretty good. But the main thing about this is you're not going to be gaining too much money from this. This isn't a good way to make money. Mining is a better way to make money at this point. The main thing you should be doing is practicing how to fly your ship. You should be practicing how do we fly the cruiser ship and how do we stay within range and be able to shoot the enemies without them being able to shoot us. And I guess your ship shouldn't be blown up, right? If you've lost any ship for some reason, you should learn how did you lose your ship. We haven't lost any ships for quite a long time. It's so hard to lose ships. But if you just keep going through security missions, it's pretty fun blowing up the other ships. You get to see the explosions and learn about flying your ship. You get to open up all the loot. At the end of the missions, you could open the loot to see what they get. But for now, you can just keep going through Security 2 missions if you want. The main thing you get from here is standings, so you need to get standings with different factions and corporations. Once you get a high enough standings, then you can start to run level 3 missions in the battle cruiser.